Hello, dear friends. Today, I want to talk about something that might seem small but can make a world of difference in how you feel each day. It's about the food sitting in your refrigerator right now, those leftovers that you might be planning to reheat for your next meal. You know, when I think about the kitchens where many of us grew up, waste was something we were taught to avoid. Clean your plate, they'd say. Don't throw away good food. These lessons of thrift and careful planning stayed with us for decades. But what if I told you that reheating certain foods could be silently affecting your health? What if that innocent plate of leftovers was secretly contributing to joint pain, digestive troubles, or the afternoon fatigue that keeps you from enjoying your garden or spending time with grandchildren? Recent research from the Journal of Food Science and Nutrition has found that for adults over 65, certain reheated foods can trigger inflammation, disrupt blood sugar levels, and even affect cognitive clarity, all without you realizing the source. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 foods that you should never reheat if you want to protect your health and independence. And more importantly, I'll reveal 3 foods that actually become more nutritious and beneficial when they're warmed up a second time. By the end of our time together, you'll have practical knowledge that could help you maintain your energy, support your memory, and keep you steady on your feet, all through simple changes in how you handle your leftovers. Before we begin, if you find value in health information that's designed specifically for our generation, please consider subscribing to this channel. Just click the button below and tap the bell icon so you never miss another tip that could make your golden years truly golden. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's talk about those 3 foods that become nutritional treasures when reheated properly. Let's begin with something humble but mighty: beans and lentils. These simple legumes might not be glamorous, but when reheated, they become powerful allies for your aging body. Think about the quiet strength of a bean. It contains everything needed to create new life: protein, fiber, vitamins, minerals, all wrapped in a protective shell. When first cooked, beans and lentils begin to release their nutrients, but something magical happens when they cool and are later reheated. During cooling, the starches in the beans transform into what scientists call resistant starch, a type that resists digestion in the small intestine. When reheated, these resistant starches remain intact and travel to your large intestine, where they feed the beneficial bacteria that protect your digestive system. Why does this matter so much for those of us with a few more years behind us? Because as we age, our digestive systems naturally become more vulnerable. The protective lining thins, digestive enzymes decrease, and the delicate balance of good bacteria can be easily disrupted by medications, stress, or poor diet. Reheated beans provide a gentle, steady source of fiber that moves through your system like a careful caretaker, sweeping away waste while nourishing the good bacteria that protect you from inflammation and digestive distress. But the benefits go far beyond digestion. The resistant starch in reheated beans helps stabilize blood sugar, preventing those afternoon energy crashes that can make daily tasks feel overwhelming. Their high potassium content helps maintain healthy blood pressure, while their magnesium supports bone strength and heart rhythm. For those managing diabetes, arthritis, or heart concerns, reheated beans offer a meal that's both comforting and protective. A bowl of yesterday's bean soup, gently warmed, becomes more than just a convenient meal. It becomes medicine for your body. Mary, one of our viewers from Colorado, wrote to tell us that after incorporating reheated beans into her weekly meals, she noticed less stiffness in her hands each morning and more sustainable energy throughout her day. "I thought it was just age catching up with me," she wrote, "but it was really about what I was putting on my plate." Next, let's talk about whole grains, foods like brown rice, quinoa, farro, or steel-cut oats. These aren't just side dishes. They're foundations for healthy aging when reheated with care. Similar to beans, whole grains develop resistant starch when cooled after cooking. When gently reheated with a splash of water or broth, they maintain this beneficial structure while becoming easier to digest. For our brains, which naturally change with age, These reheated grains provide steady glucose, the primary fuel our minds need to stay sharp, focused, and present. Unlike processed carbohydrates that cause sugar spikes and crashes, properly reheated whole grains release energy slowly, supporting memory and attention throughout the day. Think about those moments when you walk into a room and forget why you came, or when a familiar name slips just beyond reach. These small lapses aren't just frustrating, they can shake our confidence and independence. While many factors contribute to brain health, stable blood sugar from foods like reheated whole grains helps maintain the energy your brain cells need to function optimally. Beyond brain health, the B vitamins in whole grains support your nervous system, while their magnesium helps maintain healthy blood pressure and calm, restless legs that might keep you awake at night. For seniors concerned about heart health, reheated whole grains are especially valuable. Their fiber binds to cholesterol, helping to escort it from your body, while their potassium supports healthy blood pressure regulation. Two critical factors in cardiovascular health. After 60, James, a retired teacher who watches our channel, shared that after switching his breakfast from toast to reheated oatmeal, he noticed improved memory and more stable energy levels throughout his morning. "I used to blame my forgetfulness on getting older," he said, "but now I realize how much my breakfast was affecting my brain." The third food that becomes more valuable when reheated is vegetable soup, a true medicine that grows more potent with time. When vegetables simmer in their broth and then rest overnight, something remarkable happens. Their cell walls continue to break down, releasing minerals and protective compounds that weren't fully available during the first heating. When you reheat this soup the next day, you're not just warming up leftovers, you're activating a more concentrated source of nutrition. This is especially important for aging bodies facing the natural challenges of inflammation. The antioxidants in vegetable soup, from tomatoes, carrots, greens, onions, and garlic, work together to calm the inflammatory response that can cause joint pain, skin problems, and digestive distress. For those of you who feel the weather in your knees or wake with stiff fingers, a bowl of properly reheated vegetable soup can be as soothing as a warm compress from the inside out. The vegetables release their anti-inflammatory compounds, while the warm liquid increases circulation to stiff joints and muscles. Vegetable soup also addresses another common concern for seniors: hydration. As we age, our thirst signals weaken, and many medications can further dehydrate us. A warm bowl of vegetable soup provides nourishing hydration that's absorbed more slowly than plain water, supporting kidney function, skin elasticity, and even balance. For those managing blood pressure concerns, the potassium in vegetable soup helps counterbalance sodium, while the natural nitrates in vegetables like celery and leafy greens help relax blood vessels for healthy circulation. Perhaps most importantly during cold and flu season, reheated vegetable soup strengthens immune function. The minerals zinc and selenium, released more fully during reheating, are essential for immune cells to function properly, while the gentle warmth increases blood flow to mucous membranes, supporting your body's natural defenses. Eleanor, who cares for her 92-year-old mother, wrote to tell us that incorporating reheated vegetable soup into their weekly meals has made a noticeable difference in her mother's joint comfort and energy. "She used to need help getting up from her chair," Eleanor shared, "but now she's moving with more confidence and less pain." If you're finding this information helpful, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We create content specifically for our generation, focused on practical ways to maintain independence and joy as we age. Your support helps us reach more people who might benefit from these simple but powerful health tips. Now, let's turn our attention to 3 foods that should never find their way back to your warming pan or microwave. Foods that might be silently undermining your health and independence. Let's begin with a food that graces many dinner tables and holds a special place in American tradition: the white potato. Whether mashed, baked, or roasted, potatoes offer comfort and familiarity. But when reheated, these simple tubers undergo concerning changes that can affect your health in surprising ways. When a potato is first cooked, its starch is relatively gentle on blood sugar. But when cooled and reheated, especially with added fats like butter or cream, the molecular structure changes in ways that can cause rapid spikes in blood glucose, spikes that become harder for aging bodies to manage effectively. For seniors, these blood sugar fluctuations aren't just numbers on a medical chart. They're felt as afternoon fatigue, irritability, brain fog, and over time, increased inflammation throughout the body. This inflammation can affect everything from joint comfort to heart health to cognitive clarity. What makes this particularly concerning for those over 65 is that age naturally reduces our pancreas's ability to produce insulin, the hormone that helps manage blood sugar. When reheated potatoes trigger sharp glucose spikes, it places extra strain on an already challenged system. Margaret, who has been managing pre-diabetes for several years, noticed that her afternoon energy levels improved dramatically when she stopped reheating leftover potatoes. "I used to think I just needed an afternoon nap because I was getting older," she told us. "Now I realize it was what I was eating for lunch." Beyond blood sugar concerns, reheated potatoes also lose much of their nutritional value. The vitamin C and B vitamins that offer some benefit in freshly cooked potatoes degrade significantly when reheated, leaving you with a food that offers calories but little nutritional support. If you enjoy potatoes, consider eating them freshly prepared instead of as leftovers. Better yet, replace white potatoes with sweet potatoes, which maintain more stable blood sugar effects even when reheated and offer additional antioxidants that support eye health and immune function. Next, let's discuss eggs, a food many of us grew up considering nature's perfect protein. Fresh eggs provide high-quality amino acids, choline for brain health, and lutein for eye protection. But when eggs are reheated, particularly in the microwave, their proteins undergo a transformation that can turn this nutritional ally into a burden for aging digestive systems. When eggs are first cooked, heat causes their proteins to denature, a process that makes them more digestible and neutralizes potential pathogens. This is beneficial. But when cooked eggs are cooled and later reheated, especially at high temperatures, those proteins undergo further structural changes that make them increasingly difficult to digest. For seniors whose digestive enzyme production naturally decreases with age, these altered proteins can sit heavily in the stomach, causing discomfort, bloating, and in some cases, triggering inflammatory responses throughout the body. Even more concerning is what happens to the fats in eggs during reheating. The cholesterol and fats, which are relatively stable when eggs are freshly cooked, can oxidize during storage and reheating. These oxidized compounds have been linked to increased inflammation and potential strain on cardiovascular health, particularly important for those already managing heart concerns. Robert, who shared his experience with us, noted that after stopping his habit of reheating egg dishes, his persistent morning indigestion disappeared. "I had been taking antacids daily for years," he said. "I never connected it to my reheated breakfast until I made this simple change." This doesn't mean eggs should be avoided entirely. Quite the opposite. Freshly prepared eggs remain an excellent source of nutrition for seniors. Consider hard-boiling eggs at the beginning of the week and enjoying them cold in salads or as snacks. Or take the extra few minutes to prepare fresh eggs rather than reheating yesterday's breakfast. Our final food that should never find its way to your reheating pan might surprise you: leafy greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard. While these vegetables are nutritional powerhouses when fresh or properly cooked, they harbor a concerning secret when reheated. Leafy greens naturally contain compounds called nitrates, substances that can be beneficial in their original form, but can convert to nitrites and potentially harmful nitrosamines when stored and reheated. These converted compounds have been associated with increased stress on the digestive system and, in some studies, with cellular damage. For seniors whose digestive and detoxification systems are already working with less efficiency, these compounds can place additional strain on the body. The very greens you're eating to support your health could be undermining it when improperly reheated. Beyond these chemical changes, leafy greens lose much of their nutritional value when reheated. The delicate vitamins like folate and vitamin C degrade significantly, leaving you with a food that provides minimal nutrition despite your best intentions. There's also a food safety concern that's particularly relevant for seniors, whose immune systems may be less robust. Leafy greens can harbor bacteria like E. coli or Listeria, and the temperatures achieved during reheating might not be sufficient to kill these pathogens, especially if the greens are reheated in a mixture like a casserole. Helen, who cares for her husband with a compromised immune system, shared that they now follow a simple rule. Greens are either eaten fresh in salads or cooked once and finished at that meal. No leftovers, no reheating. If you enjoy leafy greens, and I hope you do, given their tremendous health benefits, consider cooking smaller portions that can be finished in one meal, or use leftover cooked greens in cold applications, like adding them to a smoothie or cold soup where further heating isn't required. I hope you're finding these insights helpful. If you are, please take a moment to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We share new health tips designed specifically for our generation every week, and we'd love to have you join our community of seniors committed to living well. Now, let's talk about how to apply this knowledge in your daily life with some practical tips for safer and more nutritious food reheating. Even the foods that benefit from reheating need proper care before they reach your plate again. Let's talk about how to store your leftovers safely, which is especially important for seniors whose immune systems may be less resilient. First, timing matters. Leftovers should be refrigerated within 2 hours of cooking, or within 1 hour if the temperature is above 90 degrees. This prevents harmful bacteria from multiplying to dangerous levels. For those of us who grew up in an era before digital timers, this might mean setting a simple reminder. As my grandmother used to say, food left out is food in doubt. When storing food, use shallow containers rather than deep ones. This allows leftovers to cool quickly and evenly, reducing the time they spend in the danger zone, temperatures between 40 and 140 degrees, where bacteria multiply rapidly. Glass containers are preferable to plastic when possible, especially for foods that contain tomatoes, citrus, or fats, which can cause chemicals to leach from certain plastics when reheated. If you do use plastic containers, look for those labeled microwave safe and consider transferring food to glass or ceramic before reheating. Label your leftovers with the date they were prepared. As we age, our sense of smell may become less acute, making it harder to detect when food has begun to spoil. A simple piece of masking tape with the date written on it can prevent uncertainty and potential foodborne illness. Remember that not all leftovers have the same shelf life. As a general rule, soups and stews can be refrigerated for 3 to 4 days. Cooked grains and beans can be kept for 3 to 5 days. Cooked vegetables should be used within 3 days. When in doubt, remember the wise saying, "When in doubt, throw it out." The cost of replacing a questionable leftover is always less than the cost of a foodborne illness, especially for seniors. Proper reheating techniques. 20 OU1 to 2300. Now, let's talk about the best ways to reheat those foods that benefit from a second warming: your beans, whole grains, and vegetable soups. First, temperature matters. All leftovers should be reheated to an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit to ensure food safety. For those without a food thermometer, this means your food should be steaming hot throughout. For stovetop reheating, low and slow is the key, especially for thick foods like beans and whole grains. Add a small amount of liquid, water, broth, or even a splash of olive oil to prevent sticking and help distribute heat evenly. Cover your pan with a lid to trap moisture and ensure even heating. When reheating soups, bring them to a gentle boil and then reduce to a simmer for at least 2 minutes. This ensures any potential bacteria are destroyed while preserving the enhanced nutritional benefits we discussed earlier. If you use a microwave, remember that it heats unevenly. Stir your food halfway through the reheating process and let it stand for a minute or two afterward to allow the heat to distribute evenly. For those who find themselves cooking for one after years of preparing family meals, consider portion-sized freezing. Freeze your beneficial leftovers in single-serving containers labeled with the contents and date. This allows you to enjoy your bean soup or brown rice weeks later without waste or food safety concerns. Thomas, a widower who began cooking for himself later in life, shared a helpful tip. I freeze my homemade soups in muffin tins, then pop out the frozen portions into a freezer bag. Each portion is perfect for a single meal, and I can reheat just what I need. Finally, trust your senses. Even properly stored and reheated food can sometimes spoil. If something smells unusual, looks discolored, or tastes off, even slightly, don't risk your health. Your well-being is worth more than any meal. By following these simple storage and reheating guidelines, you can maximize the benefits of foods that improve with reheating while minimizing any potential risks. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to take a moment to reflect on what we've learned and why it matters so deeply. Food is more than fuel. It's connection, memory, comfort, and for those of us in our golden years, it can be either medicine or a subtle burden. The choices we make about something as simple as reheating leftovers can ripple through our days, affecting our energy, our clarity, and our ability to live independently. Think about the moment when you stand from your favorite chair without struggling, when you remember a name without hesitation, when you climb stairs without holding the railing quite so tightly. These are the precious gifts of a body that's supported rather than stressed by what you put on your plate. By choosing to reheat beans, whole grains, and vegetable soups, foods that become more beneficial when warmed a second time, you're not just being practical or thrifty. You're making a profound choice to care for your aging body with wisdom and respect. And by avoiding the reheating of potatoes, eggs, and leafy greens, you're protecting yourself from unnecessary inflammation, digestive distress, and the subtle fatigue that can make everyday tasks feel like mountains to climb. These aren't dramatic changes that require special ingredients or complex techniques. They're simple shifts in how you approach the foods already in your refrigerator. Small choices that can add up to significant differences in how you feel each day. I encourage you to try applying just one insight from today's discussion this week. Perhaps make a pot of bean soup and notice how it feels when reheated the next day. Or commit to enjoying your eggs freshly prepared rather than reheated. Small steps often lead to the most lasting changes. Remember that aging well isn't about avoiding aging altogether. It's about bringing wisdom, care, and intention to each day. It's about making choices that honor the body you've lived in for all these years, the body that has carried you through joys and sorrows, through challenges and celebrations. Your health is worth protecting, not just for longevity, but for the quality of each day, for the ability to engage fully with the people you love, to pursue interests that bring you joy, and to maintain the independence that is so precious. If you've found value in today's discussion, please subscribe to our channel and share this video with someone who might benefit from these insights. Your support allows us to continue creating content specifically designed for our generation. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Have you noticed differences in how you feel after reheating certain foods? Do you have tips or questions to share with our community? Your experiences and wisdom are valuable to all of us walking this path together. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Until next time, remember that every meal is an opportunity to care for yourself with kindness and knowledge. Here's to your health, your independence, and the joy of living well in every season of life. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for new videos every week designed specifically for vibrant aging. Visit our website for more resources on nutrition, movement, and maintaining independence. Special thanks to our viewers who shared their experiences for this episode. Remember, your health journey matters. Small changes today create better tomorrow.